Listen, man, unique opinions are always welcome, and we definitely respect this brother's right here, man. He is a social media extraordinaire, a black businessman, an entrepreneur. One time for Hey Hassan. What's up, Chief?
Woo!
What's up, cousins? How's it going? Good morning.
All is
Hey.
well.
We,
Listen, I'm sure you're like really like the rest of the world, watching
right.
TV on Sunday night, like with that whole what the hell going on look on your face. What do you make of it, bro?
All right, listen. So we've seen all the memes, we've heard the jokes. Lots of content creators have covered the heart of the story. The actual parties involved have found resolution. But you want to know what really burns my grits about this whole debacle?
What's that?
Not the
What's that?
grits.
All the non-black people in black people's business.
mm.
Unfortunately, because of how and where this incident occurred, you have a bunch of white people using this as their opportunity to punch down. They're
That's right.
folding themselves into pretzels to vilify black folks. These people are acting like Willard Smith hopped on stage and smacked the piss out of Anne Hathaway. They screaming, he should have gone to jail because the school to prison pipeline isn't enough for you. There's not enough black people behind bars. Oh, you wanted a rich one. Okay.
Right.
All right. Yeah. And then in come the celebrities, right? Kathy Griffin, she talking about this is opening the door to comedians being assaulted. Excuse me, Miss Mamas. What you did and your PTSD and your brittle bones ain't got nothing to do with black people. Black people don't care about you. Black people didn't send the Secret Service to your house.
Ever.
You sent an implied threat to the President of the United States at the moment and wound up on the no-fly list. Stop trying to make our problems your problems, Kathleen. Put on some sunscreen and mind your business.
Tell
She
him.
needs it.
Ooh, tell him. I do feel like that might be the only reason why I was a little upset that he slapped him, because he did it in front of all the white folks, and you knew they was already using and looking for an opportunity to get us not in that show, to get us out of the show, you know?
Yeah,
especially
and
the fear factor that comes with the fact that, for the longest time they were saying Will Smith was the safest Negro in the world. And when the safest Negro in the world smacks somebody on the Oscars, it raises the threat level past orange.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like in every ancestral lineage, you have healers and you have hitters. This is just the way it works. We don't make the rules.
He was the shooter in this situation.
Right. But then my bigger issue then is like you have the celebrities, right? Howard Stern is talking about, well, Will Smith never would have tried that with Jason Momoa. What? And Chris Rock never would have tried it with Lisa Bonet. He knew who to try.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. Exactly. So you are all for the smack, is what you're saying. Sometimes you got to smack people up.
Oh, I'm definitely team whoop that trick.
But
yeah,
in
I'm
the
not
environment in which
Get
it was
him.
done, like, do you feel like maybe he should have slapped him at the after party, maybe getting in the car, or do you feel like during the live broadcast of the Oscars was the time and place for him to exact his vengeance?
I mean, to be completely honest, I feel like the bigger problem is that we never see the correction on behalf of black women in the moment. It's always after the fact, right? Oh, let me give you a church hug. Oh, you held it down. You held your composure. But that's the problem. That's why black people or other people think that black people don't have, or black women don't have any protection, because they never see the correction happen when it's supposed to happen. Now, was the correction inappropriate and untimely? Sure. But people were so shook because they've never really seen it happen when it needed to happen. And I think black women needed to see that right now.
How do you feel like this puts things in the comedy space, right? Because, comedy is funny unless it's about you, right? So, when you get hit and you were laughing at everything else, but now that this is about you and you feel a certain way about that, how are comedians supposed to react to that?
But first of all, that joke was not about Will.
Mm-hmm.
Jada was not a nominee. Why is she catching strays? That woman was embarrassed in front of her entire industry and her peers, and all she did was to show up and support her husband. She was not on the list. And as far as comedy goes,
take strays all the time when it comes to comedy.
Her and Venus and Serena. Venus and Serena have been catching strays all award season from everybody. For what? For promoting their work that honored their father?
That's true.
Good point.
And as far as Chris Rock goes, I'm glad he got smacked up. I'm glad somebody did.
For real? You don't think that he should have did anything back either? Because, a joke is a joke, yet, and still, we done heard harsher jokes than this about Whitney and all kind of people, child. Wendy Williams.
My issue with Chris Rock is that And the reason why I think white people took this so personally is that I believe that they think he belongs to them. Because for the last 20 years, he's been making jokes about Black people for them. Chris Rock sat next to known sexual predator Louis C.K. and they just said the N-word back and forth for 10 minutes and kikied and giggled. What does that say to a white audience?
It puts it in perspective that, hey, he's with us. Now, and I'm a fan of Chris Rock, and, you know, I used to be a fan of Louis C.K. I didn't know that thing that you just said.
Oh, yeah.
But there's a lot of people, but there's a lot of, like, you know, pro-Black comedians who are, you know, they've stepped back a little bit because of the sexual allegations, but they rock with Louis C.K.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate that film took place in 2011. The clip resurfaced in 2018. It was Chris Rock, Louis C.K., Jerry Seinfeld, and Ricky Gervais, right? And they're all sitting there and just going back and forth. Ricky Gervais and Seinfeld were like, oh, no, we don't touch that. We don't play with that. But Louis was having the time of his life, and Chris was just letting him and was right there riding with him. And after that point, I thought, oh, there have been clear lines drawn in the sand. G.I. Jane, that is a joke for old white people.
That is a joke for all white people, but I don't. Maybe I look at things a little differently because when I seen it, I was like, the joke wasn't even hitting that hard. The smack hit harder than the joke, you know.
Yeah.
I thought she did kind of favor G.I. Jane. That is like a little bit. So I just was like, oh, haha. But it wasn't nothing that I was like, oh my God, that was disrespectful. Smack him. He's definitely said far more disrespectful things.
Sure, he said far more disrespectful things. Absolutely. And there have been worse jokes. But I also feel like the energy of that moment, I feel like Will and Chris may have had a civil conversation about this before.
Now that's the underlying thing. That 2016 conversation they had. This is clearly something that has been going on for quite some time because we've heard Will get said worse to him by Laverne Cox, okay? And he just laughed it off and didn't do anything. So this is a pile up of things. Anybody ever rub you the wrong way that you've been holding on to it for quite some time?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. They used to call me Peter Popoff.
Not the preacher. You out here laying hands?
Peter Pop. What about the fakeness of it, though? Do you think it might have been staged? They got those videos that shows Will smacking, teaching people how to smack someone.
I had a moment because I was just like, the slap was kind of given a little bit of stage combat,
Yeah,
right? Like
right?
there was a big rear back. You know, and then like the way that Chris was steadied for it, right?
You get what I'm saying?
You know, I've taken a few stage combat classes. I know that setup. But that fallout and the way that Chris couldn't see the prompter. He smacked the vision out of him. He kept messing up his lines.
Maybe Chris Rock has contacts and that smack was so well contacted it moved some things around. I know when I'm like
shifted a little bit.
Yeah.
The AccuView was out of tune.
That contact
Hassan,
flip under the eye, you in bad shape.
Crazy.
Well, yo, hey Hassan, man. Yo, man, continue success. Thank you for pulling up on the Morning Hustle. If people want to tap in with you and even check out some of your products so they can moisturize for the spring and summer, where do they go, bro?
You want to go to houseurban.com. It's HAUSURB as in Nancy. And you can hit me up on social at hey_Hassan. And I'm Hassan Saeed on Twitter. All over the place. You can find me.
I heard you got the pomade so you could put it in the palm and smack the hell out of somebody.
It's coming. Spring drop. Spring drop.
Okay. Appreciate you, Hassan.
Have a good day, guys.
We are the Morning Hustle.